I've always been drawn to fashion and clothing. My earliest memory really is I have an older brother who's about 7 years older. He always had better clothing than I did, and I would always steal his clothing. I've always been drawn to that idea of being able to change yourself through clothing. My fall collection for 2016 is very dark. It's all mostly black, a little bit of pattern. I wanted the focus to be on shape, and I was thinking a lot about draping. As a designer, you have to think about how somebody is going to move in it as opposed to just what it looks like. I think about the woman a lot, and so I think about how she's going to live in my clothing, so it has to be wearable. I have this little, actually it's sort of inspired by Yves Saint Laurent as well. It's this little bolero jacket. It's made fully out of neoprene, and it's basically based off of Yves Saint Laurent's smoking suit. And essentially this is a little jacket. The top part is fake fur, and then again my favorite, wool at the bottom. I love wool. I love that you can get it in so many different weights. I love the way that it constructs. It's easy to sew, and I love the way that you can tailor with wool. I like leather. I do like leather as well. Again, this top is actually leather and neoprene. It's sort of based off of this idea of armor and protection. I came to Seattle in 1993, and there were a lot of creative people in the city. There were a lot of artists and musicians, and there were also a lot of designers back then too. And since then, especially now within the past maybe 3 or 4 years, I think the city is really sort of trying to embrace the fashion scene here. And I think what makes Seattle's fashion scene is our diversity, because there's so many different kinds of designers here. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily an avant-garde designer. It's definitely not t-shirt and jeans, but it's not completely over the top that you couldn't wear it either. I actually pattern on muslin, which is a very basic, cheap fabric. So once I drape and I mark all of the fabric, I pull it off, and then I end up eventually doing a flat pattern on paper. But it'll usually go through 3 or 4 different variations just to make sure that I get the fit right, that it looks the way that I want it to look before I actually cut it out in the real fabric. Fashion is an extension of who we are and where we are in our time. When I say to you the word bustle, even if you don't know anything about fashion, I think you sort of know the time when women wore those. It's a huge indicator of our culture. When I think about Yves Saint Laurent, I think he had a lot of joy in his work and so much happiness and so much life in his clothing. And the other thing is just his love for women and his love for how dimensional women are. He wanted women to be powerful, and that's how I try to view things as well. And hopefully my work is portrayed.